Hi, Gemini. This is your November astrology reading. Um, First off, I want to say, Spirit's telling me there's definitely some issues going on in, I want to say the throat, obviously, the throat chakra, because Mercury's in retrograde. But I'm also getting some third eye and crown chakra energies that are going on. And maybe cleansing them, maybe clearing them. Just in general, that's what I'm being given, is the energies of those chakras. Now, hold on, let me double check something. I have all my little notes here. Whoa. And something else is getting my attention. There might be some sexual energy going on, and maybe even sexual frustration energy going on. All across the board, there's judgment and grief, sorrow, shame, and blame. A little bit of embarrassment. We're working through some of our, skeletons in the closet in those areas. But I'm definitely getting, really it's the top four chakras: heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye, and crown. But I'm definitely getting some third eye going on. I'm also being told that this has to do, a lot of this is going to have to do with your own personal expression, your emotional security, learning how to just understand what being you is about. Some courageousness, yet tranquility at the same time. Social foundations. And learning where you've caused your own self-deception. A lot of this is overcoming some of your own self. And we've been seeing this all the way across the board on everybody. But it switches and touches base in different ways according to your houses and what signs you are. There's some issues going on with the subconscious versus the hidden self. And the heart versus the head. Some ego issues with the heart versus the head. And questioning your fate because of it. Which is bringing me back to ethics and morals. Higher wisdom, higher mind. That third eye and crown again. Stepping into those higher energies to help you find your way through or come into a deeper level of truth. Because what I'm getting is now I'm understanding better. What I'm getting is where we hold on to things of the past, grief, sorrow, shame, blame, embarrassment, our own self-sacrifice and self-deceptions that caused problems. But the higher self will help you understand how to sort that out, is basically what I'm being given, and learn how to deal with the proper creativity that comes from the balance, from balancing them in the right way. I don't understand that at all. Something to do with possessions, relationships, and religion for some. Transformation within the three coming together as one somehow. They're still bringing me right back to ethics and morals. Hey man, I'm just giving you what they give me. For some of you, you might know exactly what I'm talking about. And something's going to be going on again with the social foundation, the outer community, professional arena, so to speak. But definitely your own creativity, your creative expression. I really feel like your creative expression and your creativity versus your mind and your head and your heart if you're not in sync and they're out of sync, you know, where the heart and the head can't communicate right, that creative expression could go very much against you or very much for you. And this is why they're saying, you know, really get with the crown chakra, clear it, and allow that higher wisdom to help direct you in the right way. Anything else? Okay, with that being said, obviously we know Mercury is in retrograde. Mercury went in retrograde on the 31st on Halloween Day in Scorpio. Now, this energy is going to be incredibly powerful, not just because it's Mercury in retrograde, but you're in between two new moons, and they're both taking place in Scorpio. Venus has been here up until now, because Venus moves out on November 1st. But the sun is here in Scorpio, because it's Scorpio season, which kind of makes us rebirth. It's reincarnation time. It's rebirth, rejuvenate, rebirth, rejuvenate, reincarnate, more or less. But there's also a mysterious sexuality to everything right now, which definitely speaks to our sacral chakra in general. And how comfortable we are and confident we are within ourselves. And that is important right now because that has to do with the reincarnation, the confidence in that reincarnation. And Mercury is going to be speaking to you about some darker aspects of helping you to learn how to love yourself right and make the better decisions. You know, go in by learning through some of those mistakes. When Mercury's in retrograde, it does not mean to redo something, but it is about reevaluating. You know, re-walking down the path and learning from the mistakes, but it does not mean to walk down the path again. Anyway, Mercury is going to be in retrograde until the 20th. On the 1st, Venus moves into Sagittarius, so it's leaving Scorpio. On the 8th, Pallas moves into Sagittarius. It's also leaving Scorpio. On the 4th, Ura moves into Libra with Haumea and Make, and I'll go over that when I hit those houses for you. Something is, I'm sorry, I'm being stopped by spirit. Something is going on, at least for some of you, that you need to really pay attention to your responsibilities and your higher interests within those responsibilities. It's going to be your responsibility to make sure that foundation of those higher interests and the social foundation is something that's healthy and a true foundation to grow upon. That's good for you. Anything else? Well, I actually heard that when they said no for once. Okay, so Ura moves into Libra on the 4th. You have the full moon on the 12th. Now, the full moon is going to be taking place in Taurus. That's going to be your 12th house. But when we get to the 12th house, we'll talk about that full moon. On the 16th and the 17th. I say the 16th and the 17th because I was a little lazy about it. When I was going through checking all of the stuff that was moving, I couldn't find the exact time of when Ceres moved from Sagittarius to Jupiter. Not Jupiter, from Sagittarius to Capricorn. And that's why I'm saying it's the 16th or the 17th. It's somewhere in there is where it actually shifts. Ceres is the threefold theory. She's karma. But she also speaks to you about what's nurturing or being neglected. Now she's stepping on top of rules, walls, and boundaries and going to show you what's being nurtured and what's being neglected. But that's mid-month. Now, on the 20th, like I said, Mercury goes direct. On the 22nd, the sun moves into Sagittarius. On the 25th, Venus moves into Capricorn. Now, in case you didn't catch all that, Venus moves into Sagittarius on the 1st. But Venus is spending no time in Sagittarius. It's going in on the 1st and then it's out on the 25th and already moving into a new sign. So Venus is going to be very much, I always say Venus is our sensitivities, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. She speaks to our sensitivities in these areas. And she's going to be coming through Sagittarius, the universal higher self, with Jupiter and Ceres. Very, very quickly. Kind of like, yes, this is wonderful. This is glorious. This is good. I like this. I love this. This feels good. Yay. Hell no. Hell no. Hell to the no. I am very resentful in this area. I'm very unhappy. I'm very sensitive and then do not touch me. I do not like that. Yes, no, yes, no. Let me slap that shit right out. Because it's not that Venus is uncomfortable in Sagittarius. Venus is just spending absolutely no time here to play around. It's let me dish out how I feel on my sensitive level. Make sure that I got it through your thick head. And then I'm off to the next sign. She's going to be dishing out some karmic lessons of what you didn't pick up from what Ceres has been trying to tell Jupiter, the higher level of our higher selves in a form, the magnification, the abundance, the manifestation that Jupiter has been trying to bring to that higher self in one form. And where Ceres has been saying, you've been nurturing this, but you've been neglecting that. And where Ceres hasn't been able to get it through to Jupiter's head, in you, Venus is just going to come through. Let me make sure that you get it now, okay? You know, and that's basically what it's going to mean, good and bad. Just slapping it down and let me run through here. And then she'll be in Capricorn on the 25th. So you're definitely going to be feeling that sensitivity in Sagittarius, that sign of Sagittarius. And we'll see what house that's going to be. Now you have the new moon, which is taking place on the 26th in Scorpio. You'll have Mars there at that time. Venus will be gone. The sun will be gone. And you'll still have Mercury there. Now on the 27th, you have Neptune, which is going direct. Neptune is where our magic is created, whether it's ill magic or healthy magic. Whether it's nostalgia, holding on to everything for the wrong reasons. It's illusion, delusion. It's where fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality. Neptune's been in retrograde with Lilith. Really also speaking about our sacral chakra, our inner fire, our inner confidence and believing in our own magic. And then what are we going to do with that? Well, it's going to be speaking to you in darker aspects because on the 27th it goes direct. It's doing another one of those, did you miss the memo? Let me make sure you get it this way, because after the 27th it's direct. And that's when it starts moving forward. So it's trying to make sure that you've gotten the information that you need of your higher self, your higher magical self, to create new healthy confidence and belief in self and in these areas of what Neptune is for you, Pisces is for you. But it's also going to be asking you where you've been neglecting it, where you haven't learned the lesson, because it's not actually moving forward until at the end of the month, and then technically it'll be in shadow. So it's still coming down to, hey, where did you miss the memo? All right, now, Geminis, you have nothing in your first house. There's nothing good or bad. I will say on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, technically, you have the moon running through, which may be a little more sensitive on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, simply because the moon runs through your sign, and if it's a sun sign, then that's your inner and your outer worlds colliding. But if it's your moon coming home to your moon, then you're most likely comfortable. Now, other than that, you don't have any planets here to influence your first house of self-awareness, your physical body, your personality, your appearance. your ID, your view of life, your image. There's nothing there to change the way you normally flow. But in the second house is Cancer. The second house for you is where the North Node is. And it's been doing this on you all year. The North Node is speaking to you about what you need to learn in order to get it right, in order to move forward. So it's going to be carrying the energies of that first and second house, of your very self-awareness, your personality, your appearance, your view of life, your core, your image, your identification, how you view life, how people view you. But all right down to the self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. Is your appearance that you're putting out, the personality you're putting out, the view of life you're putting out, the image you're putting out, is it working with your self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem? Because that is what the North Node and Cancer is trying to teach you. How to nurture yourself in self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. And make sure that it's going all the way back to your very core. If you can't get that part right, it's going to have problems with you as it moves forward because you haven't been able to heal or correct issues in that area. So this is what the North Node for you in Cancer means in your actual second house. But it brings it right back to the very first house. Again, of your personality, your appearance, your core, your image, your identification, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Now, in the third house, you don't have anything here. And for you, that's Leo. So you're kind of quick and easy to just throw out there what you want to say. Because Leos are like that. I'm a Leo. Leos have no problem just spitting out the truth. And this is your communication zone. So you really have no problem just spitting out the truth. Sometimes we even can spit it out in ways that's a little bit too cold. I'm always told I'm a little too brash. And it's not that I don't have care or love. I just am bold. And with that being your communication house, I completely understand. But even though you have no planets here at the time, because for you, this is Leo, where you're very courageous, you're very bold, but you're also very compassionate. You must understand Mercury is in retrograde, and Mercury does rule that universal third house, which means watch your word vomit. Because where you're normally able to spit it out, you're going to spit it out even more now. And you may spit it out even more brash than you're typically used to spitting it out. So make sure that the details of what you are saying, you're actually bringing out, you're communicating. The details, the intellect, the trivia, the small bits of information are literally stated correctly. So that don't turn around and bite you in the ass this month. And this is, your communication house isn't just conversations. It's your cell phone text messages. It's, your emails. It's the short visits to the neighbor. This also brings in the siblings and the neighbors. So it's the short conversations that mean a lot, but they're also home conversations. So make sure, like I said, Mercury is in retrograde, actually in Scorpio, which is going to make it very sensitive, very dramatic, and then also very sexual. So, I would say just really pay attention to what you're actually speaking, because your communication house may be a little bit in overdrive, and you may need to watch your word vomit and validate that you're validating what's coming out of your mouth. Just slow down a little bit. Now, in the fourth house is Virgo for you. Now, I was told by Spirit on the last couple readings, don't forget that Regulus has moved in to Virgo, changing Virgo forever. And for you, this is your universal fourth house. And I say forever because Regulus isn't even going to move but 1 degree in like 77 years. Okay? Regulus in Virgo is the heart of the lion from Leo, has now stepped into Virgo. And Virgo is the detail-oriented, I tend to call Virgo the anal retentive detail organizer. You know, the organizer, the troubleshooter, the finger pointer, but very organized, very detailed. Also health, diet. She is of service. But see, for you, this is your universal fourth house. So this is where service steps into the inner emotional security. Service steps into your roots, the true self, the child that, as the child grew from these roots, created the human being you are today. And where is that supportive or not supportive of your inner emotional security? Getting all the way back to the roots of the true self. Regulus now is saying in here, and you're organized, you're over-organized, you're over-healthy, you're over-picky about things, especially in the home, or things you are nesting in, like maybe your office. Don't forget your home is also you. So maybe what you're eating, your diet, what you're putting into you may be very anal retentive, but you're now taking that Virgo energy and you're adding the heart of the lion in, which now means everything about that inner emotional security, the home, the root of who and what you are, has now shifted from being a little anal retentive and picky about the stuff to incredibly soulfully deep. Does it work for me soulfully? Is any of this work on a healthy, soulful level? Because it's the lion heart. It's the courageous heart. So the courageous heart has been added to the service of the very home of who and what you are. And how can you find inner emotional security? So the roots of who and what you are is all about the soulfulness right now. Even though it may be picky about how it's going about getting there. Now, like I said, there's nothing else here in this sign right now that's making it work for you or against you. But this is definitely a growth spurt because Regulus is transforming that Virgo energy forever, transforming that home energy, the reincarnation, the karmic lessons that get you to the emotional truths, the emotional security, the roots of planting everything around the home to be organized just like so that you feel like, yeah, I feel good, as well as the things you eat. That universal fifth house, though, for you, this is Libra, and this is where things start to get a little bit different. But they are backing up those first four houses. See, Libra is all about justice. It's all about creating harmony and balance and not organizing it, but in a form organizing it. It wants to create harmony and balance. It wants justice. It wants healthy growth. But the thing is, Libra is really bad about misunderstanding how to get harmony and balance, because it tends to give harmony and balance to everybody else and then put itself on the back lines. Now, the fifth house for you is about your pursuit of pleasure, your inner child being able to play, being able to create, enjoy life. And that creates balance for you. But when you put yourself on the sidelines, and what I'm trying to say is, when this person asks you to do this, and this person asks you to do this, and then you do this, you've got all of this stuff on your plate, and you've done this, and this, and this. Eventually, when did you have time for your stuff? And this is what I'm saying with the balance of Libra. You have to balance it so that you can enjoy life, not everybody else. You're both supposed to enjoy life. So this is saying you need to take time for your pursuit of pleasure. You need to take time for your hobbies, for your love interests, for your inner child to be able to create and play. That brings balance to you. And then that helps you find your inner emotional security, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and helps you identify with yourself in a better way. But the thing is, you have Haumea here, make here, and Ura here. And this is saying your collective consciousness is starting to notice where the pursuit of pleasure, the pursuit of enjoyment in your life is not in balance, where you've given all that balance to somebody else to make them happy, to make the situation, the working environment happy. You're overloaded, and it's kept you from being able to bring in that inner joy, that inner fun, that inner playtime, that inner child activity that allows you, to find love interests, to do your personal interests, your hobbies, whatever. It's your creative expression. And if you can't enjoy your pursuit of pleasure because you're so busy over there, this is your collective consciousness coming in, asking you where you are on the lotus flower. The lotus flower grows in the swamp. Well, if you can't see how to get to enjoyment because you're still living in the swamp, then you're doing something wrong. If you're in where the lotus flower is grown up to the frothy middle land, there is an above and there is a below, but you're kind of floating there and can't really do much. Well, at least you're coming into enlightenment of understanding that you're moving up, but it's still telling you to keep stretching. The flower blooms and stretches for the sun. So the point is, get out of the swamp. Get out of the frothy middleland. Your collective consciousness is asking you where you're noticing your level of the lotus flower's growth so that you can understand how to get right with your pursuit of pleasure. Ura is here asking you, well, it's time to have some sacrifice and commitment to yourself, to that balance of enjoyment, pleasure, excitement, creativity, because it's important for you to have that so that you can have your inner emotional security, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and then come into your own personal fire. This is a courageous time of finding tranquility and creating it for yourself. As you come into the 6th house, this is where Scorpio is for you. This is where the new moon will take place on the 26th, but this is also where your Mercury is in retrograde. It's also where the sun is up until the 22nd. You are definitely illuminated in your daily, everyday tasks. But illuminated does not mean that it's positive. Mercury's in retrograde. This is you'll be illuminated, you'll be viewed, you'll shine, and it be acknowledged in these areas. And that can be positive, it can be negative. Like I said, Scorpio is all about birth and death and rebirth and sexuality at the same time. But for you, this is your everyday daily tasks. This is your daily work, your service, your diet, your health, your hygiene. This is also where your everyday mundane tasks take place. And when I say this is an area of energy, of routines that you don't think are as important, but really they're so much more important than we give them credit for. Your daily routine has people, places, and things in it. Those people, places, and things all have energy that you are consuming, which help create the manifestation that you're putting out. The sun is here illuminating your very communication of what's going on in these daily routines. People, places, and things of these daily routines and their energy. Is their energy working for you or against you? Are the routines working for you or against you? You see what I'm saying? So much goes into this. I mean, we have our let's get together for lunch. Let's get together at the bar and have a beer. We do our daily routines every day. Some people have healthy routines, some people have unhealthy routines. And if the unhealthy routines are having unhealthy people in them, then you're manifesting unhealthy energy. Okay, Scorpio is a new beginning. This is time for new routines, to tweak the routine for more healthiness, but through communication of what it is you need and bringing it out, because Mercury in retrograde is going to be showing you in these routines where certain parts of those routines don't serve you.